everyone and welcome to the Anime Exterior, and today we're going to be talking about episode 110 of Yugioh VRAINS, entitled Our Eyes Sad Frustration. Now this episode was quite a development, kind of deep, heavy episode. When you're looking and trying to unravel Ai as a character when he's becoming a villain. Or now that he has become a villain, I should say. So to start off, we find out that it's VRAINS versus Ai. And as far as the episode is concerned, it was pretty enjoyable, but nothing too crazy or spectacular happened in it. We get confirmation from Pandora that Ai's lower level monsters reflect his fallen friends. Which, okay, fine, this is a reveal that we kind of already came to the realization of ourselves. We can kind of already guess and see that, but they've just confirmed it in this episode. So, for example, I'm going to be butchering these names, so I do apologize, but bear with me. Achichi is Flame, the fire attribute. The light attribute, Pakiria, whatever, being lightning, with, you know, the weird cool hat thing. Hibari is Aqua, and Dion is Ai. Now the others aren't basically stated to be Earth and Windy, but we can kind of guess that to be the case. Okay then, so although this is a handicap duel, being a 2-on-1 duel with the VRAINS versus Ai, I would appreciate it if they mainly focus on Akira's dueling ability throughout this duel. Because we know how much of a competent duelist Aoi Aizen is, you know, Blue Maiden is, because we've seen her duel against Bowman and a few other people and showing off her skills. She's a good duelist. We know that Ai's a great duelist from his previous battles, but we haven't seen Akira duel for a very long time. However, saying that, judging from this episode, I think that might happen, as Akira's turn seems to have more focus on it than most. Because we're shown in this episode that Ai isn't really phased by Blue Maiden's kind of strategy and deck and battle style. He's not, because he manages to very easily on his first turn basically show us, as the audience, that, you know, she's not a threat to him. However, he seems to find the fact that Akira uses a setting style and a flip effect style deck to be kind of annoying and frustrating. Yes, we've all played Yu-Gi-Oh games, well, I presume we all have, and, you know, you attack a monster and it flips over, Manny to bug anybody, has a flip effect that destroys your monster. So, you know, they can be annoying, but it'll be nice to see, and hopefully they do have this going forward. I don't want Akira to have one good turn and then Blue Maiden just kind of decimates everything. Like, that wouldn't be cool. And throughout this episode, we get to see Ai sinking more and more into darkness, as we see his motives and what kind of drives them. And it springs from the fact that he holds some resentment towards humans, because for the most part, Miyu returned, Jin returned, all of the dumb people that logged into VRAINS and got affected by the neuron link, they all came back. However, the people that didn't come back were the other Ignises. And they are Ai's friends. So in a way, Ai is feeling alone and sad and frustrated because he doesn't have anyone left. He's basically the last of his kind / generation, and, you know, he just wants to have time move for himself again. Because when you basically lose someone close to you, you kind of feel like time has stopped. And it's very hard to get it moving again. And for the most part, the humans in this series have managed to do that. They've managed to kind of move on with their lives and settle down. But for Ai, he can't move on because he's got no one to do that with. So that's basically where his kind of motivation is stemming from, as far as we know, from this episode. And in this episode, Revolver has a great line throughout this part, and it reads as follows. Free will is a reflection of our friends and society. And that's how you gradually toughen your spirit. And those who haven't toughened up can't control their free will. So in this case, Ai is being crushed by his emotions. And we can clearly see that in this episode and in episodes before. Even Pandora states that all she can see in Ai is sadness. And it also reflects to the fact that Ai's lower tier monsters are kind of representing and reflective of his fallen comrades. You know, he built this entire archetype around them and around himself. Which again somehow shows his emotions and his actions and explains it a little bit to us as the audience. So that was really nice. Now, this is where I'm kind of speculating a little bit on myself. But I do like the fact that, again, in Yu-Gi-Oh! They're using a real life issue. And they're bringing it into the show and placing it onto their villains. So we've seen many villains suffer from many different kind of things. You've got god complexes, you've got, not even villains really, you've got like Aoi with her anxiety or, nervousness. And honestly, I think Ai is suffering from survivor's guilt. Because not only did Ai aid Playmaker and the rest of the humans in basically taking down Bowman, Lightning and Windy, which essentially brought ruin to the Ignises as it were. But he's also, so basically he's feeling guilty for that, but he's also the only one left. He's the last of his kind and the last of his generation. Again, he doesn't have time moving forward for himself from his perspective, and a lot of people deal with guilt in two different ways. They either go into sadness and kind of shut down almost, and the other way is they kind of do the complete opposite and kind of become violent and act out. And this is clearly what Ai is doing. He's trying to find more purpose, and he feels like he could do that if he makes it even, by taking down the others. But I'm digressing a little bit. I kind of do think, from one aspect, maybe I'm talking about it from the wrong aspect, but I do think Ai is suffering from some sort of form of survivor's guilt. If you think differently, then let me know down in the comments section below. Nice to open up a discussion, and you know what? They've done it before with other characters in Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's not out of the realms of possibility. Now, to top it all off, to show that Ai is really, really becoming that big baddie that we're all meant to believe that he is, he does the unthinkable. He plays Judgment Arrows. And if you don't know what Judgment Arrows is, or what it does, it's a link spell that can double your attacking monster's attack points if you're attacking or if you're being attacked. But you would probably already know that if you've watched the last, 50, 60 episodes of VRAINS. You probably know what Judgment Arrows does by now. If not, well, now you do. Enjoy. A lot of reactions and a lot of kind of gasps in this scene from the cast kind of going, what? Why are you using that? You know what that means. It's kind of the card that symbolizes the war between humans and Ignises, which yes, I can understand that. But again, I wasn't really too bothered about Ai using it. Honestly, I expected him to start using it at some point, and I'm glad that he has. It's not really that big of an issue, because there's so many ways to get around Judgment Arrows, but, they wanted to make a big deal about it. Now, from a dueling perspective, this, not a lot really happens. Ai has a great turn. He showcases his dominance over Blue Maiden by basically showing us that he's not really that bothered. Her playstyle and her deck type, archetype, is not really an issue for him. He manages to easily bypass it and basically run her over. As far as turn ones go without attacking, Blue Maiden, okay, she was fine. Not really a lot happened. She could have got a link 4 out, if she has one, but she only got a link 3 out this time. Okay, fine. And then Akira. Akira showed that he can be quite annoying, but then showed that he's got a good archetype by basically being able to take out one of Ai's monsters. I think it was Dark Templar he managed to take out, which was pretty good because he would have had to get over 46,000 because of Judgment Arrows' effect. So Akira, from a dueling standpoint, showed some good qualities. Hopefully that they're going to show more of that in the upcoming episodes. He finishes off this episode by summoning a Link 3 Cerberus monster, and this was actually a bit of a cringy scene, I'm not going to lie, because it was meant to be a card created by the bonds between Blue Maiden and Akira, which, yeah, okay, fine. But we're left with the question, can the duo of the Zaizens defeat Ai? Will their bond be stronger than Ai's determination? Probably not. Because I honestly think that there's going to be something more after this. I think Ai's doing this for a reason. Now, let's go back to the Bowman kind of situation. When Bowman was a villain, we kind of all thought that there would be a transformation of Bowman turning into a divine Ignis. But we never got that. So, what about if Ai is trying to get the key control cards, access cards, keys, whatever they are, for Soltec, because the mastermind of Soltec, the king piece, or the leader in the shadows, as you would, is actually a divine Ignis. And he is actually the real mastermind that kind of set this whole thing in motion. And maybe Ai's wanted to control Soul Technology to get to this divine Ignis. A little bit of speculation and theory that has really no basis, but I do like to think that Ai isn't doing this without a reason. And the reason that he's stating at the moment is for revenge and to get time moving for himself. I think it's kind of weak. And from a villain's point of view, you know, I don't think they would have a weak villain like that in terms of that being his motivation. That's just my thoughts. If you've got any wacky ideas or crazy ideas, or you like the one that I've just said, then put them down in the comments. Be good to get another discussion about that going. Animation-wise, this episode was semi-decent with his animation. The facial expressions were sometimes janky, but there were some good ones. Akira, he looked a bit too buff for me, if I'm honest. Like, some shots made him look really muscular and macho, and others made him look skinny and puny. They kind of couldn't get their kind of angles correctly, which it just only a tad annoyed me. But nothing too bad. The eyes again were kind of weird. I don't like Go's eyes, they're horrible. But I found they made Blue Maiden and eyes kind of really thick, especially the eyelashes. And I don't know, a little bit creepy, a little bit put off by it. Apart from that, not too bad. Sound effects and music, pretty good, all decent. Everything seemed to go where it should and nothing seemed out of place. So overall, if you want to go watch this episode, then by all means, it's a nice enjoyable episode. There's a 2-parter or a 3-parter, who knows, that shows some good qualities and kind of gives you more insight into Ai as a character. But if you don't want to watch it, you're not going to miss too much because the stuff that's revealed into this episode is kind of already, you know, you can kind of already get from watching previous episodes without watching this one to confirm it. So, yeah. There you have it. That's going to do it for this review. If you've enjoyed, remember to smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new so you never miss a video from me. And until next time, I hope you'll have an amazing day. And, well, keep it anime. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later. Goodbye.